At the root of all of this was the Wednesday attack on a newspaper in Paris that left 12 people dead.
It was driven by what the magazine published, mostly political cartoons. KCCI's Kevin Cooney has been talking with people who are watching the developments in France very closely.
Steve and Stacy, they have been watching closer than most of us because one of them is a cartoonist, the other a constitutional law expert who has lived in France. After a dozen people died in the attack on the offices of satire magazine Charlie Hebdo, tens of thousands showed up to mourn. And they came armed with pens and pencils to protest the attack on their free speech.
This was an insult to the French core identity.
Mark Kendi heads the Drake Law School's Constitutional Law Center. He lived and worked in Paris.
There's French national pride at stake here. And that's not a pride that says we don't want to have Muslims. It is something about the values of being French, just like the values of being in the U.S. It's in the public interest, particularly in a democracy like France or the U.S., but everywhere, to be able to get as much truthful news as possible and to not have people engage in, there's a term that's used, self-censorship.
You're talking about some very courageous people because they've had bomb threats.
Editorial cartoonist Brian Duffy takes aim every day with a pen. And that idea of self-censorship, or not saying what should be said because of the threat, is a big chill to him.
We are to the point where we've self-censored ourselves so much that we are, in essence, closing down the freedoms that we used to have and used to be able to use to bring up subjects that need to be talked about.
And that's beside the direct threat of violence.
If an organization or a group of people like this can respond to a mere newspaper, to a pen with Kalashnikovs, that's dangerous.
Steve and Stacey, a couple of things here. Mark Kendi, you recall, mentioned that battle just now between the pen and a Kalashnikov was kind of like the old saying that the pen is mightier than the sword. So here, I want you to take a look at this, if you will. This is Brian Duffy's interpretation showing the terrorists themselves being threatened by the power of the pen. As you can see, he calls it outnumbered. Another good example of that self-censorship that you heard of, Sony not releasing the movie The Interview recently because of the threats supposedly coming from North Korean terrorists.
Kevin, thank you.
Kevin, thank you very much.